Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. So I am literally here on the full moon here on the Pacific West Coast. We have the full moon happening right now as I am here live with you. This report is from December 26th. 2023 to January 1st of 2024. And it's an interesting week and it's an interesting full moon and there's a lot going on for sure. And I want to get in here and break it down. And one of the things that we are in the midst of is our Mercury retrograde. We have the planet of Mercury, the planet of our mind and our communication, transportation, markets, shopping, moving from places to places, things moving from places to places. This planet of Mercury is in retrograde right now, and that just means that those energies have slowed down, and also that we are focusing more on things that have already been in play. With any retrograde, we kind of like sit in it. And it's not a moment where we push for things to really move forward fast. And it's, we kind of spend a lot of time in thought about things that have already happened, kind of going over, reviewing, reconstructing, redistributing, reing anything. And so that's one thing that we're doing right now. And it's a little uncomfortable. Mercury, though, has gone back into Sagittarius. And so retrograde now at this full moon, 25 degrees of Sagittarius, approaching Mars in Sagittarius at just about 24 degrees. And the day after this full moon, we have a conjunction with this Mercury retrograde and the planet of Mars, our warrior spirit. And this is happening in the fire sign of Sagittarius, the sign of the bow and arrow. Sagittarius energy has a way of shooting straight to the core. It's like a bullseye shot because Sagittarius energy has that quality of seeking the truth and also speaking your own truth and being honest. Honesty is a Sagittarius trait. It's like, I know that maybe you don't want to hear this, but it is the wholehearted truth, right? And so Sagittarius is going to tell that truth, whether it's wanted to be heard or not. It's like a core trait that has to just come out. So the bow and arrow, it's like thing can just really come out. And Mercury and Mars in this conjunction. This is the second, the second of three conjunctions that Mercury and Mars is making. This took place first on October 29th of 2023. So if you think back, October 29th, I go back in my little planner because I've got it, and it's an easy way to look back and kind of see what was going on, And I look back, and that was October 29th. That was the day after our full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus on October 28th. And so that was another full moon energy. Full moon is like big, expressive. It's going to also be expressing and saying and doing and making things happen because that full moon energy wants to express and it wants to come out and it wants to come to fruition. And it can be big. It can be emotional. And so these full moons have been interacting because now that we here are on our second of third conjunctions of this Mercury-Mars on December 27th, this is the day after our full moon in Cancer. And so this full moon energy running strong with these conjunctions. And so we've been in some pretty big conversations, haven't we? And these conversations have been about things that we care about a lot and things that we are finding out and getting to the core of whether or not this is something we would like to fight for. Mars wants to fight. Mars wants to make things happen. It's an action-oriented planet. It's an action-oriented energy. And so the third conjunction between these two planets is going to take place after Mercury has stationed direct January 27th of 2024. And so this conversation is not over, is sort of the point of what I'm getting at here. There has been a deep-hearted thing going on, and it's not over. And so I see January as kind of an ongoing progression of what we've been experiencing in December. Mercury is going to station direct on January 1st, but it does take time for that energy to start moving forward. And so we're in the thick of it right now. Another thing that's really affecting this Mercury is the fact that a couple weeks ago I mentioned on the show that we are having an air void. And that means that there's not a lot of air energy represented in the whole of the astrological chart. And so we have fiery energy with Sagittarius and North Node in Aries and Chiron in Aries. We have earth energy with the sun in Capricorn and the two Taurus planets. We have water energy with Venus in Scorpio, Saturn, Neptune in Pisces, and the moon in Cancer for a couple of days over this full moon early on this week. We have a lot of other energies balanced out here, but the South Node in Libra is the only air energy that's being represented by these traditional planets here, just in the basic astrology that I'm using. And so South Node is all about things we're trying to walk away from. And so where literally the only energy that we have in the chart of air is like, we just want to walk away from talking or walk away from conversations or like not engage, because South Node is like, no, we're trying to walk away from that. We're trying to get rid of that out of our life. And so a lot of the conversations are about things that we're trying to filter out. It's about like detox and like what's gone, what's going, Mercury retrograde. We're deciding what stays and what goes. And within the reorganizing process, you efficiently place energy places. And so very interesting air void where it's like all the windows and the doors are closed up and you're gasping. We're gasping for a little bit of fresh air right now. I feel like not a lot available. And so just knowing that, it can feel a little claustrophobic. People who have a lot of air energy in their natal charts are going to potentially have a tough time when there's not a lot of that energy that they're used to, out there. People that have a lot of air energy might actually benefit from this time because if, you tend to go over, that this can be a calming time for that also. Getting back to our sweet full moon in Cancer, it is sweet because Cancer energy is sweet. Cancer energy is ruled by the moon. And so full moon, here we are. We are in the midst of the perfect energy that the moon likes to be in. Cancer represents all things that keep us secure, our security, our mothers. The womb is represented by Cancer, our homes, our family, everything intimate to us, the quiet areas of our life, the more private, intimate areas of our life is what's represented by the moon. If you look at in your natal astrological chart, you pick out your moon, where is it at? That zodiac sign that your moon falls in is going to affect and what you and be sort of what you prefer as far as your intimate setting, your home environment. And Cancer is a soft energy. It's a water energy. It's a feminine energy. It's also very receptive. So this is where, it's like the mother's arms, That's the best. That's Cancer right there. Like running to the comfort and safety of your mother's arms. And so I hope that all of you are, at least some of you are able to run to your mothers sometime over the holiday, even if it's like by phone or something, or anyone that represents that mother figure for you. Not everybody has that relationship with their mother. I understand if you still haven't, been able to reach out to that feminine figure in your life or whatever. It's still a great time to do it here over the full moon in Cancer. You'll have a wonderful conversation with your, with all of your mother figures. That energy, that relationship is strong right now with this Cancer energy being so strong and so soft, sensitive. This is a nurturing energy. This is a nurturing sign. So even if we don't have that person in our life who represents, that mother figure or a mother, that we then become our own mothers, and we can nurture ourselves and be sensitive to ourselves and be forgiving to ourselves and to our family and to our loved ones. Be forgiving for all the little things that didn't go right, or whatever, and just really move on, with an energy of, but this is my safety and my security, and I want to keep this, something that keeps me running back to this for that hug from the mother. Strong feminine energy. There was also a trine with Venus and Neptune yesterday, and that's just like some really soft, beautiful, unconditional love coming in over the full moon. We also have the asteroid of Chiron stationing direct on the day of this full moon, December 26th. Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron is a healer and comes in to bring healing, to bring understanding around healing mostly. It's all about learning those things in ourselves that are our immortal wounds and accepting them, forgiving ourselves for even having wounds that keep going at all. After all, we are just human and we are emotional creatures. And sometimes things happen in life and it's like we carry that energy with us, right? And so that becomes something that we soften into with Chiron energy. Yes, I've been wounded in the past, but now as I recognize and become aware of that wound and not move past it, but work with it, you make it your own superpower. And I'm not super into the Marvel movies and whatnot, but everyone kind of like knows what their superpower would be if they had one. Oh, I'd fly. Oh, I would, read people's minds. Oh, I would, you know what your power is, but Chiron is this superpower that we master in this life, and it becomes something that we then can offer as a healing modality to others, right? Hey, I've been through this before, and it helps you be empathetic, and it helps you understand other people more. The fact that we have these wounds that we can carry with us and then can transform them into something really beautiful and help others and continue to help ourselves. With that, there's just something really beautiful about this combination of Venus trine Neptune, the Chiron direct on this full moon in Cancer. It is asking us to find a way to nurture our situation right now in a way that is going to help us feel safe and secure. And those are the two words for Cancer right there, safe and secure. And when we are safe and secure, then we feel better about moving forward and doing things, knowing that our situations are, our mother is always going to be there, to run into her arms. Again, our own nurturing capacities, as we work with these energies, knowing that we can always come back to our own inner mother and nurture ourselves. And so that is a really interesting and beautiful start to this week and end to our calendar year of 2023. But that's not all that's taking place. I mean, it's a full moon's a great way to send a year out. But there is the Mercury-Mars conjunction going on December 27th that I mentioned. This conversation is continuing on. This is extremely potent right here around this full moon. Whatever's coming up for you and whatever is happening is perfect. It's exactly what's supposed to be happening right now for you at this moment. And so, coming to an awareness that this point that we're at, I know that we get to the end of a calendar year sometimes and it's like, oh my God, it feels kind of like, oh my God, where did the last year go? But this is a really great time to be proud of what you've done over the last year and to look back on that and to close this year out really strong and realize that whatever ongoing trouble in communication and whatever this ongoing thing is, this Mercury-Mars, that all things. What am I trying to say? This too shall pass, right? We're working our way through it. We are building this. This is the meat of our life. These are the meats and cheeses of the sandwich of our life. Like, you can't pass this good stuff up that creates new things inside of you, creates new little brain bubbles for you to work with. Okay, so a couple other things going on this week, December 29th. We have the planet of Venus moving from the sign of Scorpio into the sign of Sagittarius. And she's traveling pretty far behind everybody in the sun's territory right now. All those personal planets travel together around the sun. Sun is first, Mercury second, Mars, and then Venus is kind of like caught up in the tail end of that right now. So she's cleaning things up. Again, she's kind of watching everybody move forward and she's like, oh, you dropped this. Okay, I'll just pick it up and put it in my bag, and we'll talk about it later when I catch up to you. But I know you're running ahead and just trying to keep up, And so she is going to be entering into Sagittarius, where she is into the adventure a little bit more. She's a little less emotional, a little less deep and dark, and a little less wanting to go into these deep, dark conversations and places, and more into this, I'm going to create a little, bow and arrow, and I'm going to start shooting my arrows all over the place. And you're going to hear from me. You're going to see from me, and I'm not going to be left behind, right? It's kind of that energy of you're going to see me somehow. And here I come, and I'm not that far behind. But as I mentioned the last couple of weeks, any of the planets that have been entering Sagittarius have been having to come into a square with Saturn and Pisces. And so there is a reality check coming for Venus over the weekend and early next week, but we're already in the energy. We're already there. We're already feeling it. She's already in a pretty wide square to that Saturn and Pisces, feeling a responsibilities, feeling the stiffness, feeling the cold. It's a little cold. She's feeling a little cold. And so she'll warm up. She'll warm up as she moves through Sagittarius. And speaking of Sagittarius, I mean, it's pretty thick, but just another thing to add on this week is that we have the planet of Jupiter stationing direct. And Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system and carries a lot of energy with it and is the ruler of Sagittarius. And when a planet stations retrograde or direct, it's the stillest that it's going to be in the sky. So basically, we're going to be sitting in this thick Sagittarius soup with no air, anywhere, no windows to open, no doors to open. Nope, we're here until, and I'm just getting a thought about what's that old movie of the 12 jurors or whatever. And I had to watch it in high school. It was the 12 jurors and they're all stuck in there and they're all trying to convince that one guy that, and they're all, and it's they're all smoking cigarettes and it's closed up and everyone's all sweaty and hot into this deep, dark, this conversation, and that's how I feel this week. This week is that movie that I can't think of the name of, and I hope somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. But Mercury stations direct on January 1st, and that's the same day that Venus squares Saturn. So that's going to be another kind of thicker day to really sit and marinate. You know, there's no problem with sitting in these energies. We don't have to take action all the time, right? Here, sometimes it's like the rubber band is pulled so tight that there's no more movement for that to make, but snap back the other direction. But that's not this week. This week is more quiet. This week is more contemplative. This week is more thick with conversation, and I just feel like we are on perfect track to enter 2024 with some clear intentions and to continue moving forward. I mean, just kind of looking into the first week of January, the first couple weeks, Mars enters a new sign, and then we have the new moon on January 11th. Mercury enters a new sign on the 13th. We have the Sun and Pluto moving new signs on the 20th. And so, wow, this energy is going to be very, very different. By the end of January, things are going to be feeling a lot different than the end of December. So anyways, I will be back next week for some more, and I hope that you've had a nice time here with me on the full moon, and that you have an awesome week, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.